Cinema is another art form that has the power to impact you. Something that creates personal attachments and brings out intense emotions. Video games, just like movies, have been around for a long time and can have that same influential power, many of which share in the same kind of themes as they grew more in popularity. A team who had a passion and expertise in making video games wanted to create something adults can enjoy, as they themselves didn't really play the games they made since it felt more geared towards children. Sci-fi, action-type fantasy, horror were something you expected to see inside stores. But a movie genre that has blown up in 1990s Japan was something that was never seen inside of a video game. A genre called V-Cinema. V-Cinema became heavily popular at the time as you didn't have to go to the theaters to watch these movies. And with the little censorship, these movies were mostly crime, action, or movies that depicted the Japanese underworld. This niche genre felt like the perfect opportunity for this team to creating their vision. And after many rejections and hardships, they finally released a game in 2005, a game that we may know as today. Over the years, the series has gotten more and more popular, and I'm gonna tell you why you need to experience this piece of cinema. Storytelling is what I think is one of the series' strong points. Each game feels like its own cinematic movie, and each chapter feels like its own segment. The series is nothing but unpredictable. It's compelling in a way on how one situation can lead to this event, and this event can lead to this chain of events, and somehow all of our characters we're introduced to are wrapped up in all of this. Every game has its own kind of theme and message, but it's executed in a way that's unique and hooks you with excitement. The boss fights, the music, the dialogue. It's no surprise that after finishing this game, you feel a sense of inspiration to see the world differently or to better yourself. If this game doesn't inspire you to take martial art classes, get a gym membership, or daydream fighting a building full of bad guys, then I don't know what to tell you. The music in this series is so vast and innovative that you can almost tell which game you're playing based off of the music alone. Take for example Kiwami 2, where you hear more of the piano, or Yakuza 6, where the use of the violin is more present. The catalog never fails to support this immersion into the series. Yakuza 5, The Battle for a Dream, Yakuza 6, The Song of Life, and 7, The Whereabouts of Light and Darkness. It's all a fresh new experience that even if you haven't played the other games, you're still satisfied in wanting to play the other games even if there is confusion in not playing them. To immerse in a story centered around crime, the player must feel like they are capable of violence.
Oh, nice dodge. Oh!
And Yakuza pretty much meets that expectation and evolves constantly each time. Like the beat 'em up games from Yakuza 1 to 6, the RPG style of 7 and 8, and DMC combat. I don't know where we're going with this, but best believe I'm gonna be there. The combat is still very distinct no matter what game it is. It leaves a constant hype, especially as you keep leveling and learning new moves. A building full of bad guys with nothing but fists and sometimes weapons is what adds on to this hype with just a teensy bit of realism. Connecting each hit, dodging each blow, with the music sinking in, just makes you want to yell as if you're fighting the same goals as the protagonist, as well as their lives being at stake. And because of this, the boss fights are more exciting. Even if some games have their difficulties and a few things that ruin the flow, it's still nonetheless a style that isn't in most of the games I've played. Saying that this series doesn't have variety is like saying the Doom series has no violence. There is so much you can do inside this game that you have enough content to supply yourself for a very long time. Singing, dancing, sports, arcade, Mario, Dragon Kart are just a few things to name. But you also have side stories that can be more unpredictable than the main content. These help bring the tonal shift between the grittiness and its humor, and it also makes our protagonist more human. Yeah, they're experiencing the worst situation known to mankind, but who's to say they can't get down? This variety goes The variety goes as far as the music too. Putting the Yakuza OST on shuffle is no different than putting your liked songs on Spotify on shuffle. You got songs from More Emotions than Inside Out. Songs I didn't like at first randomly became my favorite in the future. Some of them go unnoticed due to the fact that they're unreleased or they're only played once. And I especially love the suspenseful soundtracks that makes you feel like you're running out of time as you're scavenging around the city. And then after a few chapters where you hit the boss fight, you subtly hear it in the background as if it never left. Moving aside from the basics, the company's secret formula is how they supply the target audience. RGG Studios has released 3 games in the span of 2 years, and all of them seem so completely different. And they have mastered something so simple yet misunderstood, which is the use of reuse. Basically taking what works and doesn't work. There is a lot of reuse content in Yakuza, but it's not really overly repetitive. There's still new animations, it's just that the reuse content is sort of blended in there and it's done well. Another thing is knowing when to turn something into a high quality cutscene. Transitions from conversational blocks to voiceless dialogues to cutscenes in a way that it doesn't remove the immersion.
Welcome back, Patriarch Arakawa! Back the fuck up!
To try my best to sum up the Yakuza series is everything except one specific thing. Even if there are some games I prefer less compared to others in the series, it still has its charms to bring it all together. Just like this video, this series isn't perfect by any means, but I think it doesn't try to be perfect. Its recognitions of its flaws is what makes it unique. The appreciation of the strong points makes you look further into the tiniest of details. Take for example the colors of the suits and the tattoos that reflect the characters. It's meant to be imperfect at times. Whether it's a story about the rise of an underdog or protecting what you think is right, if you're into a rich story, this series will no doubt quench your thirst. Regardless of the depiction of the Japanese underworld, there can still be shines of hopes, dreams, resolve, courage, and stories digging through the deeper questions. It's okay to be vulnerable, and no matter what age you are, you can still have fun and be a kid on the inside sometimes. Cutscenes can be long, but that cutscene might be your favorite introduction to a specific character. Take the action drama and choreographed fights from your favorite movie, along with the goofiness and humor from a comedy show or an anime, and you have this one-of-a-kind game. This series is almost 20 years old, and every person that has brought their talents and passions into creating this piece of art to implement a movie genre that was never seen inside of a video game to reach the vision that they had in mind for their target audience. That is what I call cinema. If you made it this far, thanks for stopping by. And if you want to know how to exactly get into the series, the way I got into it was basically 0, Kiwami 1, Kiwami 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I know there's like a whole bunch of like, oh, you can do the PS2 versions and then 0, Kiwami, Kiwami 2, but I'm just letting you know now, Kiwami 1 is basically remastered of 1, and it references 0 a lot, so you're still gonna have to play 0 before. But if you made it this far, thank you. Stay tuned for more games on the way. Testing.